How's it going, everyone? This is SoulSinged here, and welcome to my review of episode 5 of season 6 of Battlebots. Not a whole lot to say going into this episode, so let's just get straight into the matches. But real quick, I do want to mention that I got 7 out of the 8 fights right, so I'd say I'm doing pretty good. Like I said, I'm still in the top 5 out of like 150 people in that Discord server, so I'd say I'm doing pretty good. First fight of the night was Free Shipping versus Uppercut, and this was a pretty typical Free Shipping match. They come out, do some really entertaining stuff, some really crazy driving. They end up losing, but that's always super entertaining to watch. And they actually were doing fairly well at the beginning of this match. They came out, box rush Uppercut, got them up on their wedge and on their side, had them doing a bit of crazy gyro dancing, but Uppercut quickly recovered and it was all Uppercut for the rest of the match. They had one good hit where they completely ruptured the gas tank of Free Shipping. It also messed up their wedge, and the very next hit, Uppercut just ripped the wedge straight off, and then ripped the wheel off, and at one point they were driving sideways on 2 wheels. Flipped themselves over, and Free Shipping tried to self-right, but just wedged itself onto the wall. It couldn't get off the wall, and it was quickly counted out. Pretty convincing win for Uppercut. Free Shipping is off to an 0-2 start, but its first 2 matches have been very entertaining, and Uppercut is looking as bad as it ever has. And when I say bad, I mean like lethal. I'm not trying to say Uppercut is a bad robot. I'm trying to say they are lethal. Next match was Blacksmith versus Shatter. Shatter went in with this new weapon. It's still a hammer, but they called it the Mary Special. It's this giant blade with these jagged teeth that are kind of made to hit and kind of cut in and cut weapon blades. And that's exactly what they did. Blacksmith came out, got a couple shots in with their power hammer or hammer saw or whatever you want to call it. But Shatter was just relentless, and they were able to fire off shots much faster. And with their Omni wheels, they were able to outmaneuver and outdrive Blacksmith. Fairly early on in the match, they were able to break their weapon chains, rendering Blacksmith without a weapon for much of the fight. So it was a pretty convincing win for Shatter. Next fight was Jaeger versus P1. Jaeger is a multi-bot team, and multi-bots have never done good in Battlebots. Even the show mentioned this when it was mentioning how they were kind of unique in being a multi-bot, because out of the 6 seasons of Battlebots, there have only been 4 multi-bot teams to compete. Creepy Crawlies, 4 Horsemen, Gemini, and now Jaeger. And the first 3 have never seen much success. So they even in the show they mentioned that multi-bot teams have not had much success, but let's see what Jaeger can do. And P1 is a control bot. It has a pretty simple lifter, very, very low to the ground. And in the past seasons, they've really struggled a lot. And last year, they started picking up had a couple impressive moments. Had a very big upset win earlier this season against Valkyrie. And in this match, they're going up against a rookie bot, which is Jaeger, multi-bot. They went in with 3 bots. Wedge, mini bot that was a wedge, and their 2 125-pound bots, one of which was an Uppercut, and the other was a hammer saw similar to Sawblaze or Scorpios. Now, Jaeger actually got off to a good start. Their mini-bot was able to get underneath and high center P1, leaving it immobile. Then their hammer saw came in and got one good shot in. Didn't really do a lot of damage. If they would have been a little bit over, they could have cut into their wheel and potentially damaged one of their wheels. And then the undercutter tried to go in and hit P1, but they actually just took out their wedge bot and freed P1. P1 got around, lifted the hammer saw bot up on its back. It could not self-right, so it was immobile. And basically just toyed around with the uppercutter for a little while and eventually got them up on the shelf. Jaeger was in the process of being counted out because the hammer saw bot was already immobile and the undercutter was stuck on the shelf. At the very last second of the countdown, they were able to get off, and P1 just continued to bully them, got them wedged back up against the shelf. Jaeger started smoking. Both bots were immobile. They got counted out. Pretty convincing win for P1. Now, yes, they were going up against a rookie multi-bot team at that. So it's probably not the most impressive win in the eyes of the selection committee, but what they did show very impressive driving, and Jaeger looks to be one of the better multi-bot teams. I don't really see them being able to make the top 32 or anything, but they definitely look like the best we have seen. They definitely look better than Four Horsemen, Gemini, and Creepy Crawlies. But we'll just have to see what Jaeger can do in the future. Next matchup was Hydra versus Gruff. Gruff, of course, coming off a win against a rookie bot Switchback, and Hydra coming off a loss in the first episode against Endgame. In Hydra's first match, after 2 flips, their pump burnt out, leaving the flipper immobilized for the rest of the match. In this fight, that did not happen. They got close to 20 flips in. Now, their flipper was not nowhere near full power. They were only flipping Gruff maybe 4 to 5 feet in the air. Nowhere near the levels that Hydra was reaching last season. Gruff hung in for as long as it could, and this probably would have went to a judge's decision if Hydra wasn't able to flip Gruff out of the arena. I know some people have commented how they basically put up plexiglass all along the sides so that bots can no longer get wedged outside the arena in between Alexian. But there is still a corner where they can get flipped out, and Hydra was able to flip Gruff out of the arena, which led to a countout, which led to Hydra winning it by KO. Yeah, and so far, not the most impressive season for Hydra. Yes, this was a good match for them. They got in a ton of flips, but nowhere near the level of power that they had last year. So, very interesting to see what Hydra does going forward. And Gruff, well, Gruff did the best it could do. It was just really an unfortunate matchup for a bot like Gruff. And then the next match was Gigabyte versus Captain Shrederator. Gigabyte coming off of a match where it got curb stomped by Uppercut, and Captain Shrederator coming off a massive high of beating Tombstone in their first match. And this fight was really a return to form for Captain Shrederator. See, in the past, Captain Shrederator will come out, deal a couple hits, and then just die. However, in that match against Tombstone, they never died. They killed Tombstone. And in this match, they came out, got a couple really good hits on Gigabyte, and then they sort of stopped moving. They were still spinning, but they weren't driving anymore. Then Gigabyte came in, hit them once, and Captain Shrederator just completely shut down, which led to them being counted out. This fight was being really hyped up because it's not very often that two full-body spinners go against each other. But, yeah, there's, Captain Shrederator just did what Captain Shrederator is known to do and just died for no real reason. So that's how that match went. And then the next match was Dragon Slayer versus Duck. Dragon Slayer being a rookie bot, rookie builder, they were talking about how he built the team captain for Double Dragon built his first bot while he was working at a Walmart, so he's supposedly completely rookie builder, rookie bot, and I'll even admit that Dragon Slayer looks like a rookie bot. It just looks like a generic 2 or vertical spinner. Doesn't look like there's much to it. So I figured Duck, with his experience and the fact that Duck cannot die, would just come in and bully this rookie bot around and win on control points and aggression alone. However, Dragon Slayer showed some fairly impressive driving, some fairly impressive weapon power, broke off Duck's bill to the point where it was basically just a pushing bot. There wasn't even enough of Duck's little lifter bill to even do anything. And then for much of the fight, just both bots kind of pushed into each other, because as the fight was going on, Dragon Slayer's weapon was getting weaker and weaker. I don't know if their weapon batteries were dying, or if their weapon motor was going out or what, but their spinner was getting weaker and weaker. So for a good chunk of the fight was just Duck and Dragon Slayer just kind of nudging each other around, because Duck was also having some drivetrain issues. But since Dragon Slayer did all the damage and then control and aggression was fairly even, Dragon Slayer got the win here. They didn't look outstanding for their BattleBots debut, but they didn't look bad. They looked better than average. They did better than most rookie bots. We'll have to see what they can do going forward, because Dragon Slayer can be a legit contender if they can keep their weapon from dying, but we'll have to see what kind of punishment they can really take and how good their driving really is. And then for the main event, we had Endgame, the defending champion, versus Witch Doctor, 2019's runner-up. This was a hell of a fight. This is what BattleBots is. This is what BattleBots should be. Just two robots beating the crap out of each other. Both bots getting massive hits, and that's what this fight was. Endgame was getting some massive hits. Witch Doctor was putting in some good hits. Witch Doctor damaged the forks on Endgame. But Endgame got a couple really massive hits in that popped Witch Doctor around. They were able to self-right once, and Endgame just stayed on top of them from that point. Got them hit and flipped over again. And Witch Doctor, I know, can self-right, but by that, after a few big hits, their self-righter was broken. But I'm pretty sure that Witch Doctor can also drive inverted, but I did not see their wheels even attempting to move. So it looks like those massive, massive hits from Endgame just sort of killed them. Witch Doctor did look good in this fight, and Endgame just looked like an absolute beast. Endgame is definitely on the track to getting a second giant nut in a row, and I definitely think that Witch Doctor will also make it pretty far in the tournament seed, because they looked very good in this fight up until Endgame just massacred them. And then for the YouTube exclusive, we had Valkyrie versus Triple Crown. Now, since this was a YouTube exclusive, I knew there couldn't really be much to this fight, and how I figured it would go is Triple Crown would come out with this Triple Crown, it has what is known as Swerve Drive. It's similar to Omni Wheels, but instead of it being the actual wheels, it is the system that moves the wheels. From what I can understand, it's a super, super complicated, complex system that allows the wheels to rotate 360 degrees, therefore making them be able to drive forward, backwards, sideways, and all that. I more or less saw this fight going, okay, Triple Crown is going to come out, they're not going to be able to drive very well, Valkyrie will hit them a couple times, they'll just be completely dead, match is over. And that's sort of what happened. That Triple Crown did show some impressive driving. Very, very early in the match, they actually were able to pretty swiftly dodge Valkyrie's attacks. And I'm talking like Valkyrie being an inch away from them and them just jolting to the side and around. But unfortunately, after that, it was all Valkyrie. They got in one hit, ripped off the forks, a couple other hits that damaged one of the wheels, leaving them completely immobile, and this match was over in about 25 to 30 seconds. Valkyrie didn't really do a whole lot. They just hit them a few times, damaged one of their wheels, and Triple Crown was not able to move after that. So not really an impressive win for Valkyrie because, like I said, they didn't have to do much to immobilize Triple Crown. But Triple Crown does show some promise, which I heard somewhere that the builder himself said that it'll take at least 2 seasons before Triple Crown is a legit contender. But if they can make Triple Crown more durable, we don't know what the weapon can do because they were never able to get in there and hit with their weapon. But if you get a good driver behind it, they could win some matches just on maneuverability alone. In fact, Triple Crown might be better off just scrapping having a spinning weapon and just go for something like a lifter and more of a control bot, because they in this little bit we saw them, they show that they could have some pretty slick driving behind them. So yeah, that pretty much wraps up this this episode. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace!